You kind of do a lot of everything, though.
This is true.
So it's always a terrible thing, but how do you characterize what you do?
What I do?
Yeah.
I do whatever, it's the privilege of being an artist is at a point where you can do whatever you want to do.
Sure.
So even over the past couple of years, I've been doing drawings, which have been a complete departure from the other work that I've done that's more photographic or plastic arts in terms of film and video.
Sure, sure.
And that's been interesting. So I do many different things. And it's been an interesting career in that way, to not feel like I have to work just within one genre or one way of working. And it's opened the doors to many different opportunities and different things.
Now, we talked a bit at your house about the photographs, which for me were my introduction to you, which was photographs that turned out to be someone I knew, Alva Rogers, and these enigmatic comments underneath.
Text, works, yes.
You call them text works?
Well, or text that accompanies, the photographic image,
That was sort of ground zero in a way, I guess, for some of your early works. How would you say you've evolved? Because one thing I remember going to see, I went to the Whitney a couple of years ago, and there's an entire retrospective of your work. And there's a room full of installation art, or with multiple screens.
Yeah.
There were sort of photographs in various kinds, and it's hard to characterize for someone who doesn't have a vocabulary in art. So I'm trying to make it tangible for folks to understand the range of stuff you do.
Well, I think some of the work, like there's one piece called Easy Remember that is just a humming piece, and it has this grid of 12 mouths, and they're humming John Coltrane's ballad rendition of Easy to Remember, which is the Rodgers and Hart tune. So I had each participant, in terms of the people who performed for me, listen to John Coltrane and try to hum behind it, which is really, really difficult, because they had to choose a particular pitch, and then they had to choose kind of what path of melodic resonance they wanted to stick with or kind of make a departure from. So at first, it kind of threw the people who are professional singers, it threw them off a little bit. But it turned out to be a really beautiful piece, because then it gets all edited, and you have alto, and you have baritone, and it becomes this kind of one kind of very rich hum. So the pieces kind of go between being interested in me. There's another piece that has also two other pieces that have musical components. One is Cloudscape, which is this whistling. Where the whistle kind of goes in reverse. There's clouds that fill the room, and then the piece is turned into reverse. So the clouds dissipate, and the whistle becomes something else when it, as a soundtrack, is put into reverse. There's another one, though, that is called Corridor, which, from an opportunity of collaborating with a preservation institution up in New England. They had properties from the kind of 1700s up until, I don't know, probably up until the 60s that people would donate.
Is this the piece where the two women?
Yes.
Oh, I find that, I thought it was so haunting, so.
So it's 100 years. So one house that we chose, because American vernacular architecture is all about add on, change, and everybody's in love with the Victorian era. So in some ways, that house, although it was 1760s, it appeared to be a house of the 1860s. And there was another home that was a modernist home built by Walter Gropius for his family up on Lincoln, Mass, on Walden Pond. And what's amazing about that house is it's a very contained modernist structure, but it too, in terms of its decor, of the place that it's kind of frozen in time, is really the 60s. So I have another artist friend of mine named Wageshi Mutu, who was kind enough to perform it for me.
She's the one. She's the woman in both pieces.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but the thing is, you describe it. What's really remarkable about it is not simply the setting, but the shot selections. And in the modern house, there's this wonderful play with a mirror.
Yes, in the bedroom.
In the bedroom, which is really, I sat watching it trying to figure out where she was in the room and where the mirror was. And